All right, what's good, guys? This is part 2 of the ICT Made Easy series. Today we are going to be covering SMT. There's a lot of confusion on SMT when really it's one of the easiest and most simple things to use. So we're going to break it down in this video. If you haven't gone and watched part 1, I recommend you go do that now. It's literally the most recent video I just posted on my YouTube. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into SMT and stop rambling here. So many of you guys may know what, let me make myself smaller, kind of fucking taking up the entire screen here. Sorry about that. So a lot of you guys might know what SMT is, but if you don't know, SMT stands for Smart Money Tool. Now, what actually is this? So basically, all you need to know, and I'm an NQ trader. I pretty much only trade NQ, so I really only look for SMT with NQ and ES. So NQ is NASDAQ, ES is S&P, obviously. So SMT is when NQ makes a low and then a lower low, otherwise known as a liquidity sweep before a reversal. Now, at the same exact time, NQ sweeps its liquidity, but ES, that same low, this is the same exact time this low is being made, does not sweep that low. It actually makes a higher low and then continues higher. So basically all this is NQ sweeps, ES does not sweep. Both of the indexes see a strong reversal back to the upside. Okay. Now, this can be the same thing at the highs. Okay. You can have SMT at the lows and at the highs. So you could have NQ sweeping and ES not sweeping, and then price pushes back to the downside. Now, a lot of people get confused with this. It's like, oh, only NQ can sweep, ES can't sweep. No, it could be the other way around. It could be ES is sweeping and NQ is not sweeping. Okay? Basically, what SMT is it's a signal that price is going to likely reverse. Now, a lot of people get really, really hung up on SMT, and they like to put more weight on SMT than like anything else, which confuses me a lot. This is literally ICT's words, okay? He tweeted this out. SMT should be used as an additional confirmation tool, okay? It should not be used as, oh, I'm gonna flip my whole bias to SMT, or, oh, I see my entry model and it looks bullish and we have a bearish SMT in the 1 minute. That doesn't mean you're going to sell then just because you see an SMT. That's not going to outweigh all of your confluences. You need to use SMT. It's just like an additional confirmation, right? This is something that's just like a PD array, right? It's like, oh, a 4-hour inversion that could be similar to a 4-hour SMT. You use it the same way, right? It's just think of it as like a PD array, an additional confirmation, okay? Now, I'm going to be going over some examples. Now, you can use this for your bias, just like how you could use a 4-hour inversion for your bias. But again, you don't want SMT to be the only thing you're looking at. So you can use this on the higher time frames and the lower time frames. As PD arrays go, the higher the time frame, the higher the probability. That goes with everything. But essentially, it's just one making a lower low and one not, and then they both see a reversal. When you see one sweeping and one not sweeping, and your bias is already bullish, you have your entry confirmation, boom. Then you want a long, okay? Let's take a look at the chart at one of the common misconceptions I've been seeing, especially in my Discord recently. A lot of people get confused with higher time frame SMT. And the first thing I want to talk about now that I covered what SMT actually is when not to pay too much attention to it on the higher time frame. So right now, we have the daily time frame, okay? We have NASDAQ and we have ES, okay? NQ and ES. Now, right off the bat, you can probably spot an SMT. So what do we have right here? We have an all-time high, and what do we have? All within here, we can see NQ is way, 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 way lower than where ES is at this point, okay? Now, there was initially a short, obviously, but again, right here, right? NQ at this point in time is currently not sweeping. Well, ES at that point in time is sweeping the all-time high. So Majority of people are going to see, holy fuck, we have an SMT at the all-time highs. ES swept, NQ did not sweep. That immediately means that, okay, I'm going to have a short bias. No, you're fighting the trend here, okay? So part one, you're fighting the trend, you're going against stuff. But part two is just look at the general structure, okay? ES is just a lot stronger, right? We're hovering way higher above all-time highs than NQ is, okay? NQ is not even close, and SMTs are supposed to give pretty quick reactions, right? So for days on end, for like weeks, we've seen ES is above NQ. What does that say? You're not going to use a bearish SMT on the daily time frame as your confluence every single day because it's not really strong. It's not really doing anything. What you want to see is quick and swift reactions, okay? So right here at the lows, one, I can already see that, hey, my trend here is bullish. So what I'm going to do is, okay, can I look for any SMTs? Right here, I see we made a low. We had a nice little pullback here, and NQ swept that low, right? Right over here, I can see we made a low. ES did not sweep that low, and overall trend's really bullish, and we see a super big wick back to the upside, right? We see this massive wick. If you weren't able to catch an entry on this day, you can definitely say, okay, in combination with all my other confluences, we respect this gap too, we're going to be taking buys. So again, I'm trying not to overcomplicate this for you guys, but I wanted to show you an example on the daily of SMT not working because, and that might be more intermediate. A lot of you are intermediate, some of you are beginners, but a lot of you are familiar with SMT, but have been confused. Like, why for the last couple of days have we had SMT at the highs? Are we not bearish? Okay. SMT doesn't control everything. And if the market is like hovering constantly over an all-time high and the other one is not, it's not, really much of an SMT. Okay. You want to look for these quick and swift movements. So let's take a look at a day. Let's take a look at one day here. So first off, real quick, we're going to get ES off of the charts. Also going to take a look at one of the VIP wins recently. $700 on a PA account. This guy's in the VIP. He's been in here for a while. He's just getting a payout so he can get one-on-one mentorship and really start to fucking scale with prop firms. But like every other day, people continue to pass accounts and get payouts. So yeah. And that's because I'm literally like pre-market to trading to after to breaking down my trade. I am live for the entire thing every single morning. And I also have my strategy guide in there. So if you do want to go and trade live with me every single morning, just click the first link down in the description. If you want to get one-on-one mentorship from me personally to help scale you from your position to 10K a month with prop firms, then you can also click the second link down below. But we're going to take a look at an example of the last CPI day here. So super bullish for a lot of reasons. We're not going to go over that in this video because we're just looking at SMT, but super bullish for a lot of reasons. What I can see here is that ES made its pullback and did not take out that low from the CPI candle, and we saw a reversal and price start to shift back to the upside here. Now, if I go on NQ, I can clearly see that it did sweep, okay? Now, this is just one of my confirmations, and SMT is a good point of interest to tell you when price is actually going to reverse, okay? So just trading the 4-hour PO3, right? We had our accumulation from CPI, we have our manipulation back to the downside, putting in that low of that new 4-hour candle. But my bias for the day was extremely, extremely bullish from lots of other things. So we went ahead and entered off of this first inversion fair value gap right here. And I believe we rode this one up pretty high. We actually live traded, live executed, live trimmed this entire CPI move. So as you can see, SMT is very powerful. You just have to use it. Don't put too much weight on it, okay? Looking at an SMT is the same thing as, looking at a fair value gap or looking at an order block. Use it the same way, okay? It can be a really good tool if combined with your current bias and your current entry model. So again, I hope you guys got a lot of value out of this video. I try to simplify the SMT as much as possible in the beginning, and then also give you some insight on, what does a high time frame SMT correctly look like? What are good SMTs and what are the bad SMTs? So again, hopefully you can implement this in your trading if you do want to trade live with me. First link down below. Any recommendations for what you'd like me to cover next? I do have a plan, but always open to suggestions. Peace.